Hey team, I'm just unboxing some new moulds, so got a bit excited, a little bit ahead of myself. We've got the box there I've just opened up. Inside we've got a flyer from the Mighty Forge, which is who I've got the moulds from, with a bunch of information about how to use them, how to look after them, so that's very cool. We've also got some dice making instructions, which is going to be really useful if someone's making dice for the first time. And then this is what I've just opened up from inside. So we've got some big moulds. I'm assuming these are going to be the chunks, and they're all vacuum sealed inside this packaging, which is very cool. I've got a couple of individual cap moulds for alternate D4 options, because whilst the traditional caltrop is cool, it's nice to have options of other shapes. I'm really liking the kind of shard shape. I think it's a little bit more pleasant to roll. And then I've got a couple of slabs here. I've got 3. So this in theory is going to be inserts, or the inclusion ones. Words have just gone out of my head. Blanks, that's the word. So I ordered some blanks. I ordered some geode ones, and then there's the outer dice with the font on. So I'm just going to have a sip of coffee and then we can start opening those up. So let's get involved. The silicone feels lovely to the touch. That's nice and sturdy as well. So if I take the lid off, so we've got 3 keys, 2 on one side, 1 on the other. Yep. And then that, so that's the blanks. How well you can see that. Cool. And then inside there's 2 divots as well to help with lining it up correctly as that goes on. Okay, so then we've got, this one sits a bit taller, so I'm assuming that will be the one with the numbers on. We've got, again, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 2 big keys on that side and 1 key on that side. Yeah, there we go. And then we've got inside there, oh, there's a little bit of a black speck in there. Hopefully that'll come out. Okay, no, that's in the silicone itself. That should be fine. And again, we've got 2 little bits in there as well that help it all line up. Nice, cool. Okay, so if I put that one there. So this one should be the geodes. So again, 2 keys on that side, 1 key on that side. Gently take this open. Yeah, those look really cool. So that's, I don't know if that'll focus. You can see you've got geode shapes. If I bring this down here, see if you can see that any better. Cool. I think it's quite cool that each of the keys is they're not, you can see they're not the same on everyone. They're all slightly different cuts, so whether that's hand cut in, but it means that it's quite easy at a glance actually to see which lid goes with which mould, which makes life a little bit easier. Okay, so this one should then be the shard or crystal. I've also had it referred to. Options for all three of those. So this one is the blank insert. Pop that on there, line that up. This one, oh, this one has a different shape on the lid. And that one's the one that's got numbers on. Hey Salas, are you getting involved? Hi. Yeah, okay. Yeah, do you want to jump down? Okay. Cool, and then this one should then be the geode. And be careful on these keys because they are a little delicate in some places. I don't want to rip that off. Yeah, there you go. So that's the, see if I can get this to focus. That's the geode insert, which is very cool. I like that as well as having the outer keys, even the little one has that little one in there as well. Which is going to add a bit of stability to the slightly smaller edge keys. Did this one? Yeah, this one had it as well. So yeah, you've got the extra divot in there that's going to help keep everything lined up. Amazing. On to our last one then. So this is going to be the chunks that I've ordered. From memory, because I ordered these months ago. And then whilst we're doing various things to the house that turned into a bit of a building site, we had to evacuate just as these turned up. So these have actually been sat since August. I'm waiting for me to be able to actually recreate a dice making space. So here we are. Right, okay, so again we've got, oh, is this two? We've got 2 keys on the outside of this one. And then we've got another 2 on the inside, and that's got the numbers on. So I've gone for the fighter font for these ones. My previous moulds that I used were from Druid Dice in the States, but they're not doing dice moulds anymore, which is why I've decided to try out the Mighty Forge, which is also based in the UK, so no customs charges, which is nice. I'm really pleased with the quality of these, just feeling these, which is really cool. The reason that I've gone for the fighter font on these ones, I don't know, again, you might not be able to see it, but the font is quite clean, it's quite clear, it's really easy to read, but most importantly, it's not super swirly. I'm trying to think if I've got a dice to hand that I can be vaguely more descriptive with. So this is all of the leftover dice from experiments, or if one part of a set didn't make it through quality checking, and that obviously means that the whole set's gonna have to go to waste. See if I can find an example in here. But because this font, I'll move that there. Can I get you to see it? Whoa. No, this isn't working. But either way, because this was a very gothic font, it had lots of really nice like thinning bits and then thick bits. It was very, very swirly. The problem that I was finding with working with a font like that was that some of the more narrow parts, especially on like a number 2, so this happened a lot on the 20, is that when it comes out of the mould, after a certain amount of wears on the mould itself, that thin part of the number would always be the first part to perish, and I ended up with a lot of sets where the D20 was ruined purely because all of the number 2s and some of the number 3s and some of the 7s, where it just thins, it would rip off of the mould as I was demoulding, which really wasn't great. So this time I've gone for a font that is a little more simple, that's easy to read and isn't quite as flowery. Cool. Okay, this one has 3 keys on it. So again, 2 on this side and then 1 on the other. So yeah. Oh, 1. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And then so this one is just a straight up blank. With the 2 divots on the inside there. Then this one, if I can get away from the blinding sun, this one that's a geode. Okay, so that one, you can see in there, it's got the geode inside there. So this last one should be the dragon scale one. So 2 keys on this one, 2 big chunky keys. Yeah. So then you've got there it is. Thank you, cat. She's opening the curtains and messing with my light. And then inside you can see, that's pretty cool. Looking forward to this one. I've not done any chunk dice so far. So this is going to be fun to experiment with. Because the dragon scales, I've seen a lot of D20s, like the big chunk ones, where they've got the dragon scales on the outside with the numbers on them as well. And so I'm going to have a think about how I want to make these pop when they're inside a dice that's going to have the numbers on the outside as well, because I don't want to obscure any cool patterns that are actually within the insert. Cool. Okay, well that's my unboxing. That's everything. Let's start having a play with them.